Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero in X-Force, and this is my comic review of Image's Samurai's Blood, issue number 1 of 6. Now, right off, I'd like to mention this comic is only $1. And when I picked it up, I thought it was going to be just like a taste of the stories to come. And I was blown away by not only was this a single full issue, I mean it was a full comic, but it was a great one at that. Now, I've been reviewing Image comics lately to give people a taste of their new series that have been coming out. Now, like probably most of you, I buy mostly DC and Marvel, but I've been trying to branch out and try more independent comics, and especially Image. And the other two comics I reviewed, I gave 5 stars. I was very impressed and really liked those first issues. And I'm happy to say, if I could give more than 5 stars, I would give this 5.5 or 6, because not only because of its price point, I mean $1, great, but also because of the story. And the artwork is very good. I would say it's higher than your average Image comic. And for the story, it suits well. Now, Samurai's Blood is what you would expect it to be. It's a samurai story. If any of you are interested in anime and you enjoy that type of manga storytelling, this is definitely one that you would be interested in, as well as anyone who's interested in Japan's history or the feudal age of Japanese clans. This is definitely up your alley. And not only that, but it's well done. There are a lot of comics that have come and gone that are about that time period, and some are good and some aren't. But this is one of the better ones, if not best. And I'm just reviewing the first issue, but even after tasting this, you know the quality that is about to come. Now, obviously, the value is off the chart for $1, but right off the bat, you start reading, and you get a little. I won't get into names of province and characters at this point. I want you guys to read it, but I will say this: you start with this little blip here in the beginning, and you start off with narration, and right off the bat, the narration, which usually is something you force yourself to read in comics, and they help the story along, but sometimes it's forgettable. The narration in this comic is not only essential, but it's beautiful. It really pulls you into the time period, pulls you into the world that you are reading about these characters. It was my favorite part. The narration was my favorite part of this issue. So it starts off with this bit of action, and then it jumps to this, and you automatically are a little confused because you're like, oh, well, who was that, and why did that happen? Obviously, this is not the same guy here, but after you get towards the end of the issue, you see exactly what this first part was. This is what happens at the end. And even though it's a little trick that they do a lot in comics, it's done extremely well, and it's executed well in this particular issue. And it actually made me want to come back here to the beginning and re-look and read this first couple pages. So I'll give a general overview of this. I'll show a lot of pages more than I usually do, but I won't try to spoil too much. But you basically have this very honorable and good lord of a province. I believe the name of his house is Sanjo. And he shows what kind of honorable man he is by this young man comes in because he defended his friends that lost a fight, a fair fight. He jumped in and I think killed the two Sentinels, I think, that are of his house. So he automatically sees that this young man is a true samurai and a true samurai who walks the way, and the way is the warrior's way. And he basically says, take him back to your house and treasure him, because he is truly a samurai. So in your service. So you automatically, even with the only few pages that he is in it, you get a real sense of his character. And that, I would like to say, is a great thing about this. Even though this is only one issue, you really get a great feel of the characters, the bad characters you are already starting to hate, and the hero characters you're already starting to have really fond feelings for. And that's just the first issue. And even though I love comics and I love reading comics, this particular comic pulled me in even more than I normally am. And when I got at the end of this, I could not wait to get the next issue. So out of all the Image issues, ones that I have reviewed thus far, they're all 5-star, but this is my favorite. So this character, he comes in, and he's established that through the beautiful narration, like I said before, he starts to talk about how some men, they worry about the word of the law and not the true meaning of the law, and those are the men that you have to look out for. And they're talking about this individual here, because you find out that he's actually the villain of our story. He betrays this honorable lord, his lord, and he goes about with his assassin and the sentinels of the house to go and decimate his entire line in the most despicable and unhonorable ways you can imagine. Yeah, first taking out the heart and the head of the family, and then everyone else. And as these people fall, even though you don't know them, you've got such a sense of the honorable line that this family is, that you are really dreading to see these individuals fall. They then find out through certain means where the last member of the family is, and this particular member has been not removed, but he's just been gone for 20 years. So he was the hardest to find. So then they introduced here are the young characters, and these young characters immediately are very likable. Here is the son of the local blacksmith, who is very close to the Lord, who's the last surviving family member, and his 2 children, a young boy and a young woman, or man and woman. So I don't know their exact ages, but I would say they're upper teens, and they immediately make comments about them being highly skilled for their age, especially this son of the blacksmith. Now obviously you're feeling this blacksmith isn't really the blacksmith. Now you know he's not the one that they're coming for, but there's something about him. He's not just a blacksmith. He's obviously very skilled at that, maybe even a master at it, but there's something else about him, and you don't exactly know what it is. That the Lord is talking to him, the Lord of the province here is talking to him, and there's something more to this blacksmith. So you find out that the blacksmith's son is not only extremely gifted at sword with the sword, but his father makes him these master blades, and he's going to take him up into the mountains to become a samurai. Now you then find out that he has a relationship with the sister, who is royalty, and the relationship between all these people are extremely close, and there isn't an issue with that at all. So they have their moment of romance, and then in the morning the sentinels come to just kill everybody, and you are immediately, because you like these characters, you're wondering who's going to survive. Now, just a spoiler alert, I am going to go ahead and show most of this comic, if not all of it, just because I really want to push this, and anyone who's interested in it to go out and pick this up. So he gives his son here this coin, I think that is the coin of his house of Sanjo, the house of Sanjo, and he says, hey, go. It's time for you and your sister to leave. You must survive. We'll stay here. Now, you would think that young, men and women would be crying and stuff, and they're definitely sad. But because of the warrior's way, and because of the way they're raised, with the beautiful narration, they mention that death is something that comes for everyone, and they understand it, and it's something that just everyone accepts, especially samurais. And here's the father, and he's like, I'm here. If you want me, come take me. And he goes down like a true warrior. It takes many arrows to bring him down. And the young son and daughter, they come to escape here, and here the blacksmith comes to save them. And again, the artwork is very good. I would say for the story that is being told, it's just about perfect, and I have absolutely no complaints with it, and I think it's better than your average image. So with this said, you then start to see that obviously I'm thinking that this blacksmith is or was a samurai. So he gives his son the band of the house, but again, he hasn't told his son the secret that they had mentioned earlier. And when everyone is killed in the village except for these three, there's a moment here where he's like, well, you're the Lord now. What do we do now? And he's like, well, you are my samurai. You're now my samurai. So protect us. So as he goes out to do what is happened in the beginning of this comic, like I mentioned earlier, you want to go back and see it after reading this again. So he goes to do what he's already done. You know what he's done. And what's mentioned here is, right now, my love, meaning the young samurai, he's your samurai, but soon he'll find that he is your enemy. He is not your friend. So soon he'll find he's no longer your friend. So whatever the secret is, it really makes you curious of what it is. And there's a great part here too. They look back at everyone that they loved all being slaughtered and killed, and the daughter says, we must have our day of vengeance. And the brother says, as you say, sister, so do I swear until my last breath. And with that, they turn, and then he goes and he does. You see a faraway view of what happened at the beginning of the book. So again, I showed more of this than I've ever showed before, and the reason for that is I really want to push this comic. Samurai's Blood is definitely a 5 stars. If I was giving more, I would give it more. It's a beautiful tale, and it's obviously a very classic tale of samurai's revenge. At the same time, it feels different. It has a bit of a different twist to it, and they show you enough to really be invested in the characters, but they hold enough back to make you very interested in where the story is going. So with that said, I give this my highest rating, 5 stars out of 5. And I recommend, if you even have a glancing interest in this type of comic, to go pick it up. Now, I don't know how many are left, but like I said, it's only $1. If you find it, grab it. If you don't, check online. It may be $1, it may be more by now, I'm not sure. But it's definitely worth your time and your money. Now, at the end of the series, after all 6 come out, I will review the series as a whole and tell you if I recommend you pick it up on trade or not. But if it's as good as this first issue, and if it's as good as it can be, and it looks like it will be, I don't think that will be a hard recommendation at all. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.